Hi everyone, this is Muhammad Hamid Khan, and I'm back with another interesting podcast on SEO. Today, we're not going to discuss the lengthy semantic SEO or the stuff that I normally do or discuss. Today, a very important topic I have to cover, and uh, and for the topic, I have an important guest as well. And let me introduce you the topic first. Today, we're going to discuss what are branded searches and how a brand can leverage the branded searches, or simply how someone can optimize those searches and get maximum benefit or leverage from them. And for that, I have Antonius with me. And I've been following Antonius. It's like been some time, quite a long time, and I've been following him, and he's like producing some good content on LinkedIn and sharing his advice and ideas or methodologies, whatever is like helping the community. And he's like more involved in SaaS SEO, and he started working in the field as a content writer and back in 2019, and then he started into SEO, and probably Antonis will tell more better in a more better way about himself. So, and the topic today is like very important, and like I've seen many people like struggling with getting like getting good KPIs or achieving their growth numbers, and the reason is uh, they are not leveraging brand searches. So we're gonna start with like importance and everything, and but before that, I would love to hand over to Antonis. Antonis, would you like to introduce yourself in your own words and what you do, and how do you what's your experience going so far with SEO? What's your main specialties, and up to you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Hamid, for having me in this podcast, and thank you for your kind words. I'm very happy that you kind of like what I try to communicate uh, with the audience. So yeah, I'm basically right now I'm working as a SEO lead at Minutia. I'm kind of leading the SEO team there. I started on 2019. I was more into the generic, the general content side of things. But then I branched into SEO. It came kind of naturally, and it kind of stick with me because I think it's the thing that suits me best when it comes to digital marketing. So yeah, I have more experience working with B2B companies and software as a service companies. I've led quite a lot of SEO campaigns, and I can call it. I don't like the term campaign in SEO, but yeah, you get the point. So yeah, the reason I would love to discuss this topic today regarding branded search is because I think it's kind of underutilized. In SEO, there is a tendency to not only focus on non-branded queries and non-branded traffic, but there's also a tendency to kind of like ignore already existing queries that are associated with a brand. And right now, from what I believe, brand is a very big component of modern SEO. I mean, you can't
Hmm.
ignore your brand, and skipping aside the optimization stuff and the search engine stuff, it's also interesting because it's how you kind of connect with your audience. I mean, if someone cannot find, if people cannot find what they want regarding your brand, it kind of drops the levels of satisfaction. So SEO apart, it's I see there's a big component of building a brand. So that's why I think it's an important aspect of SEO. So yeah, I think that it's important because not only you can draw more traffic, but you also build those relationships that are so valuable right now. So yeah, that's why I would love to talk about that.
Amazing, amazing. So, for the audience who's watching, could you like tell them first like what are actually branded searches and how they differ from non-branded searches? Then we can move forward.
Okay, so a basic example is when you, for example, when a user types a query that's basically a brand. like for example, any brand, let's say, I don't know, let's say Nike, I don't know. But brand searches are not only those. I mean, it can have modifiers to them. Like for example, I can search
Mhm.
for a brand. Let's say I have a SaaS product, and I type the brand, and I use a modifier. For example, testimonials, use cases. I also go to check some specific pages, like for example, pricing, anything that has the brand term and the modifier, and the branded term alone is considered a branded search. Those
Mhm.
searches most of the time have a navigational feel to them, so they're kind of straightforward of what the user would like to land into. So they kind of have a clear intent most of the times. And the difference is that non-branded searches that are associated with a brand can be anything. Like for example, if I have a company that's let's say an HR software, I can have queries that are, for example, how to for example, tech recruiting, mass recruiting, etc. But my branded searches will be, for example, my brand and pricing, my brand and use cases, my brand and testimonials, etc. So yeah, that's the difference basically.
Okay, okay, great. So, could you tell me the importance, like why branded searches matters for a website in terms of SEO and other marketing channels?
So I believe they're quite important because, as I said earlier, they're kind of the medium between what people wanna get and what the brand has to offer. Like if I'm using a product and I kind of search for, let's say, reviews, I will get reviews from other curators, other websites. But let's say I'll give an example to highlight the importance. Let's say I'm a brand and I want to use this query. I have my brand reviews query. How can I leverage this? I could create a page with reviews, like testimonials and stuff, like curate things from clients or users if I'm a product. Um, and I can kind of control the narrative. So it kind of gives you the flexibility to control your brand's narrative and kind of serve your audience. Because if your audience doesn't find what it wants, it kind of drops the satisfaction level. Like if I type something and I see that the brand doesn't leverage this query and I see other websites, not only I will think like, why I don't have the option to land on the official website. But you can also control the narrative. Like if you have to create a piece, let's say how to use let's say etc. How to use there's a query, for example, how to use Ahrefs. Um, let's say if I don't leverage this, someone else would leverage this. So they kind of control the narrative for me. But if I leverage my branded searches, apart from controlling the narrative, I can also get those traffic and guide them, like show them what I would like to show them, guide them into other pages, like creating my funnels, and also increase satisfaction because users will find what they want. That's the importance. You kind of control the narrative, increase satisfaction, and you get traffic.
Okay, so you by mean branded searches, you mean utilizing the searches of your own brand or your other industry brands as well, like your competitors. So
Yeah.
it's not only using your brand name and creating pages around those, or in terms of content marketing, but also focusing on others' brand names as well.
It's more on leveraging your branded searches. I mean, for some type of businesses, you have to. I mean, you can mention competitors, like for example, the versus pages or the alternatives pages. But this is more
Hmm.
about your own brand searches. Like, for example, let's say I have a digital marketing agency. Some branded queries could be like, for example, let's say I have Antonis Digital, for example. It could be Antonis
Hmm.
Digital reviews, Antonis Digital testimonials, Antonis Digital case studies. So if I find those queries, that those queries exist, I can cover them. I can open new pages targeting those queries. And even if I don't find those queries, people will start searching them anyway in the future. I mean, you can see that if you go to Google Search Console and you filter out, like, brand, you will see lots of branded queries. And I think that companies should utilize those more for the reasons I mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is mostly about leveraging your own branded searches, your own branded queries to open new pages or even optimizing existing ones. Um, this is something also important that I would like to discuss later on, optimizing existing brand pages.
Okay, cool. So basically, from Google perspective, they're gonna help definitely. Like for example, like I was doing affiliate before. I've like created and flipped many websites, and they were not talking about a specific brand. They were just talking and doing blogging kind of stuff. So and a lot of sites got hit, and in the recent update, like reviews update as well, and more EAT updates. Every update is basically actually focusing on the previous updates. You can say a mix of everything. So basically, you saying that branded searches help you to establish as a brand as compared to a website who's not talking about, or no one is searching for that website's specific brand, and Google gonna give more advantage to a website who's getting more clicks or impression or historical data in search console or somewhere on brand queries. Is that the case? I mean, but for a new website, no one knows, for example, that brand, that website's brand name, like a SaaS company, for example, who's just starting out a marketing automation tool. How that website can create its brand presence, and do you think that website can only use SEO as a channel to create its brand presence and get branded searches? That would actually take some time, or it can use other channels as well.
Very good question. So yeah, there are some differences here when it comes to different business models and different websites. Like for example, this is mostly a tactic that works best on established websites. Like when you start creating the SEO foundations, let's say for a website that has no authority, no previous online existence, it will be impossible to leverage your branded searches, your brand queries, because you don't have any. But if you are already a brand with a presence, that would be easier. You will have your pool of brand queries, and then you can create your map and say, okay, I will create those pages, or I will target this. What you said is very important, because these searches can come with time. I mean, if you are, for example, an affiliate website, you still have to build a brand. I mean, even at least from my understanding, where SEO is heading, having a brand is very important, because if I search for something and it's not on the SERPs, why rank it anyway? Like from a Google perspective. So you have to build a brand. Leveraging other channels is important, because I think at the end of the day, when it comes to SEO, how you build a brand is basically connected to your topical coverage, how many SERPs you kind of have presence on, how many different queries you have, how many different pages you open. So the more people you get on your site, you kind of build your brand. I think it's important to leverage other mediums, like for example, social media are huge, video is huge. So yeah, having a holistic presence can help. But when you are a beginner website, yeah, you can focus on brand searches. You won't have any. But as you build up like your reputation or your brand, you can start checking what people like search when it comes to your brand, and this can also help you identify the sentiment.
Okay, so basically, I got your point, and really you explained it in a very better way. And by the way, I appreciate, because I've gone through the same challenges and the same processes when I was working like for a SaaS company, and I can remember or can recall the challenges like a website who has a brand like Mailchimp, like HubSpot. They were it's easy like on the SERP even, because everyone or 90% of the people who are in email marketing knows about Mailchimp. So for the rest of the brand, it's challenge to get clicks from those people, even if they're creating more good content or even if they're ranking on top. But a website like Mailchimp, if even if it's ranking on third position or fourth position, it's again getting clicks because it has built some brand. So that's a
Yeah.
big challenge. I mean, and do you think that brand is more related to SaaS based websites, or it's like you can say can it's necessary having a good brand presence or branded searches for any website model? What do you say?
Well, I think building a brand is beneficial to any website and any business in general. At the end of the day, this is what you want. I mean, at least from what I saw regarding the latest updates, let's go into that field as well. I kind of think there's a correlation
Sure.
between, yeah, there's a correlation between actual brands that people search and have associated with something. Because if you don't have a brand, you will miss on the associations as well. Like, for example, I type, like, for example, HubSpot can be associated to specific terms like CRM or con marketing, or, I don't know, inbound marketing. But if you don't have a brand, you kind of miss those associations. So you kind of lose sending extra signals to search engines like, okay, I have this brand which is associated with this, with these topics, with these terms. And apart from that, you kind of miss the opportunity of having actual people search for you. And this is why many websites that don't invest heavily on SEO, but they have a big brand, kind of do well on search because they have a brand already. So they have associations with specific topics. So if they cover those topics, their brand search demand is huge. So they kind of have it easier. And as you said, they even still clicks. Like if I search for something SEO related and I see big SEO brands, I basically kind of click to those guys instead of
Because they have already built trust.
yeah, they already built trust. They already built trust, and this is very important because trust is all about right now, especially with AI, that anyone can just create websites full of AI
Hmm.
content and without any differentiation. Having a brand and actual messaging is key here. So yeah, to answer back, it's kind of harder to leverage branded searches when you're starting out. But as you build a brand by leveraging organic search the right way, when I say the right way, I mean actually create content that people want to read and actually provides information instead of just copying what the top ranking page already have. And you kind of leverage other channels, you kind of build a brand. So sooner or later, people will start searching for you. Like, for example, they can start associate your website with specific brand searches. This can be easier for specific models, yes. Like, for example, SaaS, because they have many different navigational pages. Like they have the API page, the pricing page, they have the use cases, they have the features, they have specific tools that do specific things. It can be easier. Like, for example, a blog that talks about for example, how to take care of dogs. But yeah, I think
Mhm.
it's something that SEO should start checking into. I mean, you may have some untapped opportunities on your branded searches. So checking those branded searches on Search Console, basically, that's a good tactic.
Amazing. So you're saying that basically branded searches are not specifically related to a specific business model or type of audience or type of niche. It's can be it's necessary or today's era need that someone who's searching for information online always trust a website who he knows or who is someone referred or gonna maybe discussed or have seen ad or
Mhm.
anything being some relation or touch point with that brand before um, gonna click as on that website as compared to the website he don't know actually, even if they're like creating good content. So I guess this is really important. This is the importance. I mean, summarizing if it's summarized in one line that having a brand is like important because it establish trust for your audience, and they click you or they prefer you. Like someone like gonna buy shoes. The first brand that comes in mind is like Nike, Adidas, and Puma. No other brand comes in mind, right? This is the power of brand. So basically, a business challenge, business who's like operating, the main goal is to convert or establish the brand, because once it's reached to that threshold, the branded searches start getting appearing in the search console, for example. This is where this is the start of something new. And this is actually my next question as well. Like, we're gonna maybe break this conversation into two parts. Like, number one, if a website is already getting, for example, 10,000 branded searches in the last 3 months. Branded searches could be, you mentioned anything like pricing, like X means brand, X pricing, X versus Y, and anything could
Yep.
be like that. Maybe on blogs. So branded searches could come on informational pages as well, on could come on commercial pages, or could come on homepage or any navigational
Yep.
page. It doesn't mean that on blog side you have no branded searches. So branded searches can be any can can be related with any type of page, like content marketing documents as well. So basically, the first part I'm gonna love to discuss with you is, if your brand is getting already or your website getting already branded searches, how to utilize them and how to make most out of them, or how can someone can leverage them. And the second part would be about, for a new website in any niche, for example, or in any knowledge domain, how that website can build its brand. What are the main methods, or for example, methodology. So the first part, how a website already getting branded searches on Search Console, how someone can utilize that.
All right. I will be a bit detailed here because I kind of like to highlight this process.
Sure,
So
sure.
yeah, uh, when it comes to established websites or established brands that have already branded queries associated with them, it can kind of, I would start with that. Like, you can um, you can first log into your search console. You can search for specific branded terms. You can do a regex, like for example, regular expression on Search Console search, and you can see what branded searches exist um,
Hmm.
in Search Console. So then you kind of get those branded searches, check if you have already existing pages for those searches, and if you don't have, you can start opening new pages regarding those branded searches. And the good thing here is that most of the times you will rank anyway because this is your brand. So it's kind of easier to rank for those terms. And when you have your pool of queries and say, okay, I have those queries, I will start opening those pages. You can kind of see if there are other websites that kind of cover this topic already. Like, for example, let's say reviews. Like, for example, have a brand with a reviews modifier, the reviews query modifier. Throw this a branded search. Like, for example, Semrush reviews. Then I can see what the search competitors doing, and kind of not actually do the same, but kind of control the narrative of what my users like. Okay, I am the brand, I can rank for this term. My competitors who already rank for my branded term do this. How can I leverage my brand power to kind of control the narrative better or give more value to the users? Like, for example, if I have a use cases branded query, like for example Ahrefs use cases, those are examples, by the way. I don't know the specific intent or SERP angle of this, just giving those examples as examples. I can see, okay, my search competitors are doing these articles or these pages. I can do something better, and I can control the narrative and show my actual users what they can do. So part two, after you identify the brand searches, is basically check the competitors and see what they do. Um, and another important thing is that actually see if this branded search actually generates a unique SERP. This is very important because you kind of if you kind of like opening pages just to target branded searches, you may cannibalize existing ones or just do nothing. Like for example, if I have a query that's, let's say, use cases and how to use, they can generate the same SERP. So if they generate the same SERP, I can just cover those, like, open a single page for both of those terms. So I don't have
Mhm.
to like open more pages. So yeah, step three is checking for SERP overlap. And then when you have your pool of branded queries, see what competitors do, see what new pages you can open, you can just start creating your pages. And another important thing when start to create pages for branded searches is basically see how users kind of follow up with this, with these particular searches. Most of the times, this can be extracted from the search themselves. Like you can go down to related searches and see what other searches users have inputted regarding those brand searches, and you can start see how users kind of actually won't actually learn regarding your brand for this specific query. So another important thing is that SEO kind of feeds other marketing channels. Like for example, if I see that users are searching for use cases or tutorial or how to use, I can create more branded content, more product-based content. Like I can create more product guides. I can do more webinars because people actually want to learn how to use specific things. Or if I see that people search for reviews or testimonials or case studies, or like for example, is brand worth it? Because there are search like that. I can start creating more case studies, do more, interviews, more success stories. So kind of organic search kind of can dictate the other marketing channels, the other marketing efforts. Um, like for example, what content you can create. I think this is very important because uh, we can see that searches are not only for SEO. Like for example, if I see that people kind of want to learn if my company is reputable, like for example, do I have reviews? Do I have, like for example, is my brand worth it? I can create specific content answering those questions. So you can kind of use the brand research strategy to create content marketing material for other channels. That's very important, I think.
Yeah, great explanation. So I would agree, by the way, with you. Like you mentioned that if you go to into search console, you find the patterns, what type of pattern someone searching with your brand name. You will see if you have already created pages uh, answering those patterns or such behaviors around your brand or a particular audience, then definitely optimize those pages. But you said that if you don't have a page, go and create those pages relevant to those queries. And
Yep.
the thing I liked mostly that you said that you see also your top competitors. For example, what type of pages they have created around their specific product, and definitely you can hop to like Ahrefs, or maybe you can see what type of keywords, branded keywords they're actually ranking on. Probably if you're not
Hmm.
getting all of them in GSC, you can use your competitors as a good you can
Yeah.
say example, for example. And
Yep.
you can create those pages as well, but this is like a second you can say as an opportunity, utilize it as a secondary opportunity, but utilize first those queries that someone searching or associating with your brand. So I really love this approach. And do you think the branded searches has some impact on conversion rates as well?
Yeah, very good question, Hamid. Yeah, that's something. I think I have created a post regarding that. Like for example, actually, this type of branded searches can also help uh, users convert. Like for example, when we think of branded searches, we tend to think of existing users. Like, okay, I know the product, I'm just a user, but just a user of a product, and I search for something. But this is not the case. If you search for reviews, or for example testimonials or any other thing, you can be in the face of thinking about doing a parsage. Like, for example, you can kind of be in the process of thinking, okay, is this product or is this company what I'm looking for? So it can help on conversions since you kind of emit trust. And of course, you can kind of create pages that actually reflect what users want to see. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I am a services company, and I see that people are searching for my brand plus reviews.
Hmm.
If you type this, you will see pages like, for example, Klats or Good Films, or these pages appear on the SERP most likely. But if I create a page curating success stories, curating reviews, and not only the good ones, like for example, you can be creative and create a section like what we can do best, and have some things that past clients said to you and you kind of improved upon those. You can emit trust. And not only for that, but even for more product based searches, like for example, how to use a specific tool or a specific feature. Let's say you are a SaaS company, if you have specific features. If I search how to use, like for example, this brand feature or this brand tool, you can create content that actually shows how to use this. And if the user see, okay, this is something that is easy to use, it kind of satisfies what I want to do, then they're quite, likely to convert into paying customers or paying users. So yeah, as you said, they can help in conversions for sure.
Okay, great. But how does content creation and optimization play its role in, for example, you can say, strengthening the results for branded searches, the search results for branded searches?
Well, I can say that at least I believe that it's kind of the same thing. Like, you try to satisfy intent. Of course, you have the brand, like, okay, yeah, this is my branded search, but you still have to satisfy intent. For example, if you have a page about how to use a product, you have to show how to use the product. You have to explain how to use the product. You have to use language that is associated with using this product. You have to have sections that kind of cover the usage of this product. Or let's say if you have testimonials page, you have to reflect on that. You have to satisfy intent by including testimonials or pricing. You have to have, a clear pricing page. So what I can say here is that focus on intent. I wouldn't focus so much on like how you can handle a normal, let's say, blog post. Like, you can search for entities, like terms, all this stuff. You can do this, but the most straightforward way, because you already the brand, is to kind of try to target intent as clearly as possible. So it has to do with, satisfying intent for sure, and understand what your users want. Like, for example, on a branded search about using a specific feature, you have to show how this feature is used, and you have to actually cover everything, like show them everything. Because if you don't show them everything, they will have more questions. So you kind of try to satisfy everything that the user searches for. That's my answer. Go for intent. It never loses.
Okay. Yeah, so that's nice. I mean, the steps you mentioned for optimizing branded searches using SEO as a channel. But when it comes to the other digital marketing channels, how a website can utilize other channels as well at the same time to establish itself as a brand, or how someone can connect and everything together?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and this is something I kind of pondering lately, because from what I see, um, digital marketing is becoming like a whole thing. Like, you kind of connect the sum the sum of all parts, as I can say it. So yeah, how can brands leverage other media? they can interconnect them. I will start with some more SEO related things, how you can interconnect other media, and then I will expand more on more, content marketing stuff. So the most obvious things is kind of connect every other media and every other related uh, brand entity on your website. Like have your social media on the website, have schema markup connected with specific properties with other media. Like for example, you can have the property like the same as property. Okay, you can create the same as property in schema, and so that these are my social media profiles. These are this is the same company as, for example, this LinkedIn profile or this Facebook page. Another thing is basically have presence on other media. Like for example, uh, let's say that I will take you as an example. You have your LinkedIn presence, but you also have your videos on YouTube. You are creating a multi-channel presence. Like for example, I can find you on LinkedIn, I can find you on search, and I can also find you on YouTube. So you kind of establish branded searches or your brand presence across multiple channels, multiple platforms. So you kind of you can't help it but seem legit, seem like a brand, seem like an actual person or brand that exists out there and adds value. So I would say that the thing is to distribute content and value, because after all, content is about providing value in other channels as well. And as I see, like for example, you can also leverage those platforms for SEO. Like for example, people are searching stuff on YouTube. You can see what people actually search on YouTube. People are searching stuff on, for example, let's say some social media platforms. You can actually leverage those. You can play your cards like a search marketer on other platforms. But apart from that, you can just be there. Just be there. If people see that you are present on other platforms, they will trust you more, and you will have more touch points with other users.
Hmm. I think that's a great thing to start. I mean, start with like SEO, build your a lot of content marketing. You can say on distribution, you can say assets, and then spread it or distribute it or do syndication on other channels as well. Like it's a good example. And by the way,
Yeah,
it also helps in conversion. For example, we used to like do a thing like when I was working for a SaaS startup, and we were doing like creating content, awareness content in the start, and the traffic we were getting, obviously not everyone gonna convert, so like 1-2% conversion rate we're gonna getting, and then the rest of the one we like getting the audience IDs from Google Analytics for creating the funnels accordingly, and then utilizing those and retargeting those audience on social media. And probably someone who's already visited our website, we can again retarget him or her on social media by offering something, a lead magnet or free guide, like
yeah,
if the like how to start X, something like problem solving content, and someone maybe click on that. We created specific landing page for lead capture. We got for example, we get the email address, and then the next channel involved, which is email marketing, all the drip sequences and all the cadence of the proper cadence of email marketing, we're gonna do that. And also at the same time use PPC, Google Ads as well to retarget. So
yeah, of
branded
course.
searches, yeah, it also basically helps like establishing you as a brand, connecting multiple channels as well. And because one user has like different touch points with your brand, not just in Google. And this is how someone converts. Like if someone has watched has seen your display ad on somewhere on some website, watched your Facebook ads on another day back, like last week, also seen your in PPC ad, watch you in YouTube video ad as well. So this is like all the touch points you have to create, as much as touch points you can. And TikTok is the biggest example. I mean, creating a brand presence. Like I've read, maybe you probably know as well, like the last or previous than the last year. I mean, TikTok users exceeded than the Google users. That was
Yes.
shocking and surprising to know. So basically, different touch points wherever your audience is, you can say, live. Spread your content and create content according to that channel, according to that platform, in the way how users want you to consume. And this ultimately helps them, like, you like painting picture in their mind about your brand. And whenever they see you in the search, for example, or comparing yourself with other, definitely they will prefer you because you are, like, doing more marketing as compared to your
Yeah.
competitor. And and one example, sorry, one more example, uh, I would love to give you. Like, I've seen a basically page, like, some, if on a query, if you write like, how to uninstall Zoom, for example, I think they created a page specifically that you shouldn't uninstall Zoom, and here are the reasons. Or uh, like, on the negative brand keyword as well, they have created a page just get someone back to the software who's created already his mind. And you can do pages like Zoom alternatives as well, because
Yeah, yeah, of
someone
course.
searching for Zoom alternative, you can tell them again, okay, Zoom, there's no better alternative than Zoom is everything.
Yeah,
So what else with this?
it's about controlling the narrative, as I said, and that's one of the best examples for a branded search that you gave. Like, for example, uninstall Zoom. Yeah, you open a page because if a user wants to uninstall your product, those users will do it anyway. They will find a way to uninstall it. But if you have a page for that and you can control the narrative, then you say, okay, you can uninstall our product like that, but you know you might not want to uninstall because and you present your perspectives. This is what branded search queries are about: controlling the narrative and getting those users. And yeah, regarding the touch points, people consume content and information on different mediums. Like, for example, if I want to buy a software, I basically, like, I will not only just search for best, like, for example, SEO tools on Google. I may visit forums. I may um, check social media. I may check YouTube videos. I may ask other colleagues, other people. So yeah, people are gathering information uh, by different ways. So this is very important, having presence on other mediums as well. This is how you create brand demand, by just be present and providing more value than your competitors. And yeah, leveraging brand search. That was a great example of the uninstall query. This is what I'm talking about. Brands have to utilize these things because if they want, their competitors will just, the competitors will do it. And not only competitors, like other websites that have uh, nothing related with this tool. Like, for example, I can be a tech blogger and I can create like articles of how to uninstall products. Like, I'm a tech blogger. Like I don't sell software, but if you the actual brand create this page, yeah, you get those users. You can try to reverse the thought of uninstalling your product and yeah, control the narrative.
Yeah, amazing. And by the way, another good strategy is, like, if you're on a tool, for example, content writing tool or content. Basically, I don't choose. So let me change the example. Like,
Yeah,
lead generation tool, for example. So if you're, for example, a lead generation tool, like, you should create listicles on, for example, lead generation tool for X, lead generation tool for Y. This is, in semantic, if we call this a query template. And most of the people, or most of the companies I've seen, they don't cover the other tools as well, just because they think that we're gonna promote other tools on our website.
yeah,
So
that
this is
fear.
like,
They're afraid of mentioning
yeah.
other brands. Yeah. I can tell you from
And
experience.
yeah,
Sorry for interrupting. I can tell you from experience that
no, no,
working,
take it.
working, working with SaaS companies and doing SEO for SaaS companies, those pages are actually money makers. Those pages actually make you money.
Yeah,
So yeah,
great.
I don't see a reason why not doing this. Like, you are missing on so much, so many opportunities, so much value. I don't know. Yeah,
Mhm. And if you like writing a listicle, for example, on, for example, 21 lead generation tools, for example, okay, and you have a tool like ABC, on which position you will mention it in the start, in the first number?
Most of the companies mention it as number one, like for example, the first item in the list. Uh, Most of the times this is done, but I have seen that some other companies kind of mention them like the third tool. It has to do
Hmm.
with the number of tools you mentioned, but yeah, most of the times it will be the first one. Um, yeah, companies are not so open into experimenting with these things. Like for example, like doing an A/B test and see, okay, we will be the first tool, but we will also be the last tool. Like, is there any change in signups or like conversions? Or I know this is another another discussion as a whole. But yeah, leveraging your brand and mentioning competitors, like for example, let's say Ahrefs alternatives or brand versus brand. Um, these are important. This is very important to do because at the end of the day, your competitors will do it anyway. If someone wants to search for an alternative or wants to search for uh, another tool to compare your product with, they will do it anyway. So you have to open those pages and control the narrative and present what you want to present. Like, for example, you know your product better than anyone. You can highlight what has to be highlighted, like so your product strengths, what it can do differently, different messaging. This is key. So yeah, uh, I don't see a reason not to do this. Um, it's pretty standard in some niches, like going for versus key versus queries and alternative queries. But yeah, as you said, some companies are reluctant in doing this. But yeah, these companies have to do it because those pages make money, as I said.
Yeah, amazing. So by the way, I love this approach that you have to change the narrative, I mean, of the user. This is you want to do, not instead of relying on what already been searched on. You can also change the narrative of someone who's, for example, going to uninstall your software. You can change his narrative by giving more
Yeah,
benefits, okay, and something like that. Or maybe you can rank your discount page, okay, if you're in uninstalling Zoom, here's 30% discount. So
yeah.
I mean, anything you can play around with it. And but that's why I love SaaS, and probably I will come back to SaaS very soon. Maybe create my own product,
That
and
would be that would
it
be
would
that
be
would be
around.
interesting.
I'm by the way waiting for the right time, and just creating some demand uh, around semantic SEO. Then I will come with some a very important thing that my software will do, and we're gonna build layers on that software and make it like all in one software, not something like I mean, but maybe in the start something solving the problem of the users, not in terms of making money, but solving problems of the real audience, like what problem I'm facing. I will basically help others to get over those problems. And
That would be awesome, really, really.
yeah, great, definitely we're gonna do it. And maybe you should do your own SaaS as well, because no.
I don't know. I don't. I never thought of creating a SaaS product. I don't know. Maybe in the future. At this time, I'm focusing more on the SEO, content marketing. Another project I have, which is a website. So yeah,
Nice, nice. So I think one thing, like the listicle stuff we were discussing, like having 21, for example, lead generation softwares. I think one approach gonna also help you. Like if you are like, if you out of 10, in terms of the branding state, you have like 3 out of 10, like 5 out of 10, for example. So you don't mention the other softwares who are like more branded. Like if you're lead generation tool, you don't mention, you should not mention HubSpot, you don't mention Salesforce, Pardot. You mention the software that are not, I mean known by anyone, or very rare someone like know about them. So that this will give you an advantage that uh, out of like 21, only you are the one that people know more, or the rest ones are just average. So this will help them to only choose you as a software. So this tip really helped me. And instead of mentioning HubSpot and Mailchimp and etc., definitely everyone gonna go to them, and you will not get noticed. So instead of in terms of getting you noticed out of the, like, you can say, the competition, the other software you can mention a very low branded. So that's, I guess, a good strategy as well. And by the way, you can leverage others blogs, others websites blogs as well, like listicles, who's like someone written on
Yeah.
lead generation tool, and you are also a lead generation tool. You open this you said this phrase, lead generation tools, that user might, that your user might be searching, and you open up a top 10 listicles ranking on best lead generation tools. You contact them and you ask them, okay, I'll pay you, for example, or maybe whatever deal you can make. Definitely you have to pay, no one gonna give you link for free. Or mention, you ask them to mention you, maybe on the second, third, whatever they think, or you pay to them. So that's also good thing to feature your brand on other affiliate or listicle sites as well. So not only your website. What do you say about this?
Uh, yeah, basically the thing about, getting links is not something I've worked on a lot, because most of the times, I do client work and we just deliver the content piece. But regarding these listings, for example, even the versus pages, the alternatives pages, what I find very interesting regarding these pages is that there are so many ways to create them. And especially now that, let's say, we have the factor of experience. You don't have to cover like 30 tools, 20 tools. You can just cover 10, 5 tools, but you can actually show that, okay, this is how we created this list of alternatives, let's say. You can actually test the tools, do free trials, curate reviews from other users and present them, curate even videos of people using the tool. So what I can say is that you can do those types of content in so many ways. And yes, you can also get backlinks from this, as you said. But most of the times, I see those pieces as another opportunity to do something differently. Because most companies, they know that these types of pages work, but they kind of, just create a list. They see these are the features, these are the pros and cons, and they created a standard list. But you can go above and beyond and do something different. Like, I would say that I'll try to experiment with things like actually using the products. Like, you don't have to cover, as you said, every tool. Like, why covering every tool? You can just cover like 5 or 10 and actually use them. Or you can even change the angle, like change the perspective. For example, best, let's say, X tool alternatives you never heard of. So if everyone is covering the same tools, you kind of change the angle, change the perspective, and you say, okay, these are the alternatives that are not so mainstream. You never heard of them. We actually use those. And then you not only create value for the user, because if the user visit the same pages, they will see the same tools. But if they visit your page, they will see something different. But you also create a new perspective for the search engine to see, okay, these guys are doing something differently. So you kind of have you know a different angle. So bonus points, you may rank easier. I don't know.
Amazing. Super interesting tips, by the way. And I would also add something here. Like, most of the people, or SEOs or marketers, they just basically assumed or perceived or thought that the branded searches or branding always or only comes through paid ads or by spending money. It's not always the case. You can leverage free methods as well to establish yourself as a brand. For example, a good example that I normally quote, and I'm really happy, very impressed by their journey, a tool called User Pilot. and they were like into the niche no one heard about, like user onboarding, product adoption, something like that.
Yep.
They were offering solutions for that. So what they did, I mean, they started their webinar series, educating them, and a lot of glossary definitions, like product adoption glossary definitions. Like their team, their head of marketing, Amelia, if I'm not wrong, if I don't recall the name perfectly, what they did demand generation plus. And now anyone who's gonna maybe use maybe get solution for product adoption or user onboarding, always 99% go to user pilot, because they have done the demand generation as well, and
Yeah.
using free methods or channels they have done they have their branding as well. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm one of the people that believe that organic search is not only about capturing demand. I've
Hmm.
debated this thing with other marketers because the general consensus is that organic search is about capturing demand. I kind of think that you can also create demand through SEO, because I mean, your audience's pain points, interests, and questions can be tied to your product or your solution or your service. So why not? I mean, why not actually creating demand? Like, for example, if I search something and I discover a solution that I don't know, I just discovered the solution for that. Especially if there's something like not so common. I'm gonna give a personal example right now. I'm gonna give my own project as an example, if that's okay.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
yeah, I start creating a project that the project's goal is to help digital marketers find their first job and break into the industry. It's a Greek website. It's about helping digital marketers in Greece. But what I thought of that is that, okay, I will do SEO. I will create, like, articles for, like, for example, the best SEO seminars, the best digital marketing seminars, the best digital marketing training programs. But I will incorporate my solutions, which will be digital products, into those pieces. Like, for example, if a user lands on that and they see that, okay, there's a guide that will help me, that will provide information about breaking into the industry, it will start being more interested in what I offer. Like, for example, there's nothing like that in the Greek market, for example. There may be, but from my research, I haven't found it anything like having uh, ebooks with insights and tips when it comes to landing your first digital marketing job or getting into the industry or leveling up your career. So I kind of create demand for my digital products, and this is how I view organic search as a whole. Like, it's a channel that can capture demand. It can create demand in specific cases. I'm not saying this is a demand gen channel, but it can in specific pages, and it can also create brand awareness and create narratives. This is the most important thing: create narratives, because as we talk about branded searches, as you said, like, for example, for the uninstall example, which was awesome, you kind of control what users see, and you kind of dictate the user. So yeah, this is a huge channel. You can use it for demand gen, and you can associate your brand with specific things. And this is one of the most important things as well: associations.
Yeah, amazing, nicely covered, man. You have a great knowledge. And by the way, yeah, I would agree with you. I'll back your point. Like instead of like creating pages like why choose us, why and how, what we do. For example, not around it, but like a good example. I normally see and discuss a lot with my peers and people, colleagues as well. Like which is hrefs. What they do, what they did basically, they had a good software like for doing, for example, keyword research, for doing competitor research, for doing backlink analysis, etc., for doing website audit. They have, now they have a solution. They gathered all the problems of the user searching around and around their product or the outcome, like how to do keyword research, types of keywords. And what they did, they first address the problem, what the problem, and every time they're gonna say that, okay, go to go to our software, put this phrase, and practically step by step they have literally answered them how to solve their problem. And like, this is like they have established a very good, you can say, search traffic as well, because they like solve problem. They were ranking on, for example, even some keywords, big keywords like SEO, how to do the SEO, and everything they were offering through their software, like, okay, this tool, this feature, and YouTube videos. Same thing they were doing on YouTube, creating his their product manager, actually, I think Sam, or if I remember correctly, was creating long articles, playlist, and yes, they were providing value, but using their own software, how to do SEO using their software. So I guess that's how you should do it, but you have to do a lot of effort. You have to think out of the box, and basically, and one more example, like Rand Fishkin, like in SEO, normally people understand him as an industry leader. Like most of the SEOs, the big SEOs, basically learn from him, and the tree actually expanded after him. So basically, you can say he started Whiteboard Friday series, and the series like he was educating the people, on whiteboards and on the blogs as well. Then they were telling the, okay, Moz helps you to do this, Moz help you, like bridging the problem of the user with the solution. And then solution is your software, basically. Brand as well, plus traffic as well, plus conversion as well, search demand as
Yeah,
well, everything you have on the plate.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, product involvement is a must, because at the end of the day, you want to get users. You want to get people actually use your product, or um, buy your services, or anything that has to do with the bottom line of the business. That's huge, and this is a point that this is a reason I think organic search can also create demand. For example, let's see what's the hot topic right now in SEO. It's AI and chatbots,
Hmm.
LLMs, AI, answer engines. So let's say I'm an SEO who wants to learn more about that, and I just try to type things like, for example, LLM optimization, or how to optimize for SGE. If, let's say, I have a tool that kind of provides users with what people actually type as follow-up questions on LLMs. Let's say I have such a tool, for example. If I cover something like SEO for AI, or LLM optimization, or SEO for SGE, I can mention this, and some users may actually buy my product, because they'll see, okay, this guy has a tool that actually provides queries that people actually type in LLMs. I need that. So I kind of create demand for a tool that may not be there in the market. So yeah, I don't like to think or as like organic search is just a demand capture channel, because you kind of provide new solutions. You can provide new solutions and new perspectives of how things can be done.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. And by the way, concluding this discussion, what do you think? By the way, it was a very good conversation, and concepts are always like coming, and this gonna be a very, maybe we can do it again, and lot more concepts to
Yeah,
share
sure.
through our experience. And but my question, I guess the most important question as well, I mean, about the future trends of like you can say managing and optimizing branded searches. What are the trends you are like forecasting or looking at? Maybe someone who has like brand, how someone can leverage those trends.
So the question is how to leverage branded searches moving forward, right?
Yeah, what are the like trends
Mm.
in terms of managing and optimizing branded searches?
I wouldn't say there are some trends. I would say there are some best practices. Like for example, actually see what people are searching, try to create pieces for what people search, and kind of shift the narrative to what you want, what is beneficial, and basically will help users, because at the end of the day, it's all about helping the user. So what I see is basically, I would say maybe we can see a rise in such queries, branded queries, because people are using different mediums, and I may like discover something on YouTube, discover something on social media, discover something on via a podcast, like see someone talks about a product or service or business, and then I may type something. So as we have more touch points now, we may see an increase in such searches. But my overall advice is keep an eye on branded queries. Just check your search console, check your tools, and yeah, don't sleep on those, because as you said on the example of the uninstall query, that would be like an untapped opportunity. But yeah, don't sleep on branded queries for sure.
Amazing, amazing. So I think that was a healthy conversation. And by the way, folks who are watching this podcast, definitely go to LinkedIn, search for Antonis, and read his content. And by the way, he's dropping some valuable nuggets on LinkedIn. And
Thank
do
you,
you have a
Hamid.
YouTube channel as well? Do you have a YouTube channel as
Uh,
well?
no, I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm thinking of opening one. It will be kind of different from my standard content. I'm thinking of, doing more
Okay.
of discussing SEO tools, SEO, methodologies and stuff. But I don't have a YouTube channel right now.
Yeah, no worries. So I guess LinkedIn is a gold mine, and just read him. And also, if you have a specific questions related to this podcast or some follow-up questions, or you want us to carry forward this series, this momentum, you can maybe drop in the comment section anywhere where this video is posted or live. And I would like to thank Antonis once again for coming and sharing his expertise, his experience, uh, and definitely I hope you guys will learn from it, so and implement the strategies, the branded searches, which is the future, I guess, and which is the current as well. I mean, keeping in mind the Google updates, I've seen many sites got hit, and just because they are not managing their brand or optimizing their brand searches. For example, they have no about a space specifically talking about their brand, the attributes, brand attributes like mission, vision, process, team, their history. I mean, you should talk about your brand as much as you can, and then people will talk about you. Definitely, first you have to talk about your brand. So I guess that's the key takeaways. And Antonius, would you like to, by the way, say something in the end?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Hamid, for the opportunity. It was awesome talking with you and sharing my thoughts on this topic. I would like to say that um, just for the people who do SEO or digital marketing in general, I would advise to don't try to stick to old playbooks. Like, things are changing.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to embrace new methodologies, new frameworks. And yeah, that's my advice. Don't stick to old playbooks, because um, what works now may not work in the future. So yeah.
Mm. It's always the trends and checking your competitors what they're doing, and obviously there's a lot more, but
Yeah.
this is a good starting point.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for watching, and see you soon with another interesting podcast, and take care.